Workplace wants to remove bell at the desk that aids my disability. Posted in r/advice and r/tales from the front desk. Originally posted November 17th, 2024. I'm a night auditor at a hotel. My job is largely sitting in the back and watching the cameras, printing out papers to store for accounting purposes, and helping guests that arrive in the absolute dead of night. I work from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and generally am completely alone in the building except for security, who is one guy that only mostly shows up for his scheduled shifts. This job has been an absolute slam dunk for me. I struggle in most workplaces due to my blend of disabilities that make waking up on time extremely difficult. Showing up to work at all can be challenging at times, and even when I'm in the workplace, I often struggle to keep up with workloads. Because I'm coming in the dead of night, I don't have to worry about oversleeping, and since my job is just printing some papers and general customer service, I don't have to worry about not being able to handle it. My previous manager encouraged me to bring my Switch into work because it can get extremely boring, and she made it clear that as long as I'm not bothering any guests and am here on time and getting my work done, what I do doesn't really matter. She also mentioned that there's a bell in the dining area that the cooks use, and I can take it to leave up front so guests can easily alert me when they need something and I'm in the back. She left the company about a month ago, and our new front desk manager is an external hire. She sent her first message to the team as a whole about a week ago, and about 70% of the message was her lambasting anyone who uses the bell. She saw my signage that says, "Please ring the bell for service," and wrote that anyone using the bell would be written up for doing so. I have pretty bad ADHD, that being a pretty major part of the typical struggles at work. I'm not always looking at the cameras and can't tell 100% of the time when a guest has arrived at the front desk. While I'd like to get medication to help me treat this, the waiting list is a 1.5 years long just for evaluation. And since I only just got approved for company health insurance, it's still a long ways out for me. Maybe it's silly, but the bell is a huge saving grace for my work performance. It's quiet, distinctive, and immediately lets me know I need to get up and help someone. I've not mentioned that it assists me with my disability to my manager, but I wrote telling her that it's useful for me. Additionally, if I don't have a bell out there for people to ring, there's really only 3 things will go down when a customer arrives. 1, the customer waits until I check the front desk cameras again, which could be a while because, again, memory issues. The customer walks into an employee-only area to look for me, inevitably scaring the shit out of me and looking extremely unprofessional in the process. 3, the customer yells, "Hello?" to try and get someone's attention. None of those scenarios are necessarily ideal. To me, it seems like a much easier solution to simply give customers a way of politely notifying me that they're waiting would be to give them a bell to ring. However, my manager has made it very clear that this simply won't be happening, and I really don't want to get written up. While I could just sit at the front desk, that would make me unable to watch the cameras at all, and additionally, I wouldn't feel safe doing so. The front desk is positioned directly in the front of a massive window, and we're located in a shady part of town. I am certain that I would get people coming in to sexually harass me. It's happened before. I just want to keep the stupid bell. I don't understand why it's such a big deal if it helps me do my work easier, but I don't know how to describe to my manager that a $5 bell I bought off Amazon is an effective disability aid for me without sounding stupid. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think there's anything that like HR can do. If this manager is saying no bell, can they make a disability accommodation argument here? I just don't know. And I also think it might not be good for your career if you really like your job to try to fight your new manager who clearly has a power trip. Like, I don't want OP to comply, but I'm almost wondering if compliance is the right move here in terms of longevity of keeping their job. Maybe there is an argument here for neglecting their disability or not assisting their disability here. I just don't know. Like, my ass, bro, if we're going for some like malicious compliance, my ass is thinking like, okay, they said no bell. Let me get walkie-talkies. That would kind of be fun, low-key. Like, if there was a sign there that said like, please radio me in, you know, like I'd be like, shh, this is Echo 31 at the front desk. Like, that's where my brain goes, guys. Because also OP is here by themselves too. So I feel like the ability to like not get caught is pretty high. Like, I do think they could probably just end up using a bell, and if they're really good about putting the sign up only when they're alone and taking it down right before everyone starts getting there, I feel like they could. But like, also it'd be funny, it's like, okay, it's not a bell, like I set up walkie-talkies, I set one of those like really loud rubber chickens. Like, I'm just thinking as like dumb idiot immature streamer brain, I'm like, me walking in seeing that shit, I'd be like, I fucks with this hotel like that, you know? I mean, there's other solutions too, and you guys might have to educate me on this. I don't know how much of a disability argument that they'll have, or if that's even going to be effective, and if people are going to take that seriously. But like, you could, I don't know, maybe set a 5-minute timer on your phone, maybe 10-minute timer on your phone to just remind you to check the cameras. I genuinely don't know what the right answer is here. I'm just coming up with random solutions that came to the top of my head. Just put the manager's phone number at the desk. That would be hilarious, Mon. But they could have a sign that just says, call this number for assistance, and then they could just call the number, and it could be like the number for the phone in the back, and they could answer it. I feel like that's also a solution. This manager is just ass, bro. When I worked at the desk, we also weren't allowed to have a bell. Dude, if your number one op as a manager is a fucking bell, like, get over yourself. I'd have a gong for them to ring. Bro, I walk into a hotel that has a gong for them to ring for assistance. 5 stars. Immediately. Bell equals lazy? I'll fucking say it. Part of the reason I'm glad I'm not in corporate America is because corporate America is fucking stupid. Can somebody answer my question before I keep going? Is there maybe a good argument for disability accommodation here? It's not if there's no legit diagnosis. OP needs that diagnosis to be able to go to them and be like, hey, this isn't fair to me. Fuck, that sucks. Update 1, titled, might have fucked myself over with the new manager, December 28th, 2024, 41 days since the original post. So I guess I'm kind of looking for help. I think I might have dug myself into a hole here, and I really need this job. This is going to be a super long post. Sorry. So I'm a night auditor. I've been at this job for about 6 months now, and this is the longest I've lasted at any job. Working is really difficult for me due to my blend of mental illnesses. So when I landed this gig after accumulating a shit ton of rent debt and cutting ties with my abusive family, I was celebrating like I'd won the lottery. The fact that I get paid to do fuck all most of the time is a goddamn blessing. The previous manager was awesome and trained me how to do everything super fast. She actively encouraged me to bring my laptop or Switch in to play video games during my shift, because otherwise I'd get so bored I'd start bashing my head into a wall. She also told me I could use the bell from the kitchen to put on the front desk for guests to easily get my attention. This had been an absolute godsend regarding my ADHD, and I made a sign to request guests to ring it for me during the dead of night. After only 2 shifts, she said she was confident I could manage my own work, and I've been working alone ever since, with security around a good half the time. Back in September, she left for a different job. Everyone was pretty heartbroken, but of course, we all wished the best for her, and she departed with no issues. There was about 2 months where the front desk was reporting directly to the general manager, who was slowly but surely getting less and less responsive to messages and calls. At one point, I had a guest approach me complaining that their car had been stolen from our parking garage, and despite being told they would get the chance to speak with the GM about the incident, she never showed up. I sent an email to the GM immediately, furious she had not responded to our guests and upset that my repeated calls to her over the last 2 weeks hadn't been acknowledged. I told her she had to come in that day to discuss things with our guests, as they would be checking out the next morning, and I expected to be updated on the situation as it had happened during my shift, and I would like to know how I'm expected to respond to this. I got no response, and she did not arrive at the hotel that day, so I sent an email to HR saying that I was unable to get in touch with her and needed assistance ASAP. That was fortunately able to kick the GM's ass into gear, and the situation was dealt with, though I never got my update. Finally, about a month and a half ago, we got a new front desk manager, who we'll call M. Her introduction to us all felt off-putting. She opened with a standard introduction and then immediately dove into a rant about the bell. She had seen my sign saying to please ring it and went off the handle saying it was ludicrous and absurdly unprofessional. She said she threw the sign out, and should she see a sign like that again, the poster of it would have disciplinary action taken against them. In addition, she's taken away the keyboards for the computers in the back office and making them functionally unusable for everyone else. Fucking why? This is, of course, a dog shit way to introduce yourself to your new employees and a complete power trip to me. A bell is a normal thing to see at a hotel, and putting that aside, it has been an absolute game changer for my disability. I have really bad time blindness and will forget to check the cameras for extended periods of time, and the bell is a good way of immediately getting my attention from whatever I'm doing and getting me to the front desk immediately. From now on, M is going to be Monica, because I hate it when people give letters to names. I decide that Monica will surely understand if I tell her it's a disability aid, so I leave a response to her clarifying as much. I obviously don't tell her the details of my disability, just saying that I can be very forgetful, and the bell makes it easier for the guests to get my attention when I'm in the back office. In addition, I would very much like to use the computers in the back office. Monica says that it doesn't matter and I'm not allowed to use the bell. I remind her that as a disabled employee, I'm entitled to reasonable accommodation and she's having none of it. She demands I get a doctor's note for the stupid fucking bell or take it up with the GM. She also neatly dodges any of my requests, asking where the keyboards are or if we can still use the back office computers. She also says if I'm experiencing trouble focusing, I should remove my distractions. This advice is very upsetting to hear, not only because I do not want unwarranted advice on how to manage my medical condition, but also because I know that it is not how my fucking illness works. Could you just not go and pick up a keyboard from Goodwill for $5 and bring it in and take it away when you leave? Like, that's what I would do, low-key. I'd say, fuck this manager. This is maybe where I should have stepped back. I sent an email to the GM explaining that I like to use the bell, and it's a preferable alternative to guests entering employee-only areas to get my attention, and I would like to have it cleared as a disability aid. I also mentioned that I do not want to hear Monica commenting on how I should treat my disability, as she is not qualified to do so. GM seemed to take a very stern tone with her response, demanding to know why I wasn't at the front desk, why I wasn't checking the cameras. The bell has never been allowed, and I'm breaking the rules by using it. Worst of all, she demands to know why I did not mention my disability in the course of my interview. All I'm saying is save that email. This implies that they wouldn't have hired you because of your disability. I smell a lawsuit. This question is fucking shocking. No employee is ever required to disclose their disability to an employer before the job has been offered, unless it makes them unable to perform the job duties. And as the manager, she should know this. I repeat that I am not required to disclose at any time until I make a request for accommodation, and that my disability means that I sometimes forget to check the cameras, and this is not something I am in control of. Additionally, I stress that I have never been told I am required to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. This has never been the case for me, nor anyone else I have worked night audit with. I also CC'd HR to make sure they're hearing all of this as well. HR responds saying if I want accommodations, I'll need a doctor's note, though they do not mention GM's out-of-pocket demands to know why I hadn't disclosed my disability. GM denies that she ever requested I disclose my disability, despite the fact that I have the fucking email sitting in our reply chain just a few days prior. She says that I'm to respect Monica's authority as she has many years of experience in the industry. This is not something I have ever denied, and that I am to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. Respond back to that email and be like, oh, you denied this? Oh, bitch. Literally, this email from you, copy paste. What now? I feel like you should threaten HR. Be like, you guys are actually like disregarding my disability. I'm going to lawyer up and we're gonna have a conversation. HR will kick their ass into gear ASAP, Rocky. Additionally, she says that Monica has claimed I've been hooking my laptop up to the work monitors to play video games. This accusation has come out of nowhere. While I have brought my laptop to work to play games, this is something I was extremely explicitly told was allowed by the previous management, and I have never connected my personal laptop to the work computers. I tell her as much and make sure to stress that I am upset with Monica because she gave me unsolicited advice on how to manage a medical condition she is not qualified to comment on. Her experience as a hotel manager is irrelevant in the specific matter. I also make sure to stress that it is incredibly fucking weird, considering how bad Monica is stressed that she's the manager, that she never approached me about this supposed workplace habit. I would expect her to discuss any issues with my performance with me directly, as that would be the normal thing to do. I've not gotten a response to this email, and it's been 3 weeks since I sent it. I'm honestly not sure what to do now. Did I just completely let my anger about this whole situation fuck me over? Do I get papers from my doctor saying that I'm disabled? If I do that, should I bother with the stupid bell that caused all the bullshit? I still want my fucking bell back, but that's not worth losing my job. I say you go on the offensive. Get the papers and like go to HR and be like, oh, here's specific evidence where the GM and Monica are not supporting my disability that directly reflects your company, and I could press a lawsuit, because that's when HR cares. HR only cares about protecting the company. So if you go after the company will do something for you. I do have to say that probably could also potentially end poorly, but I think that's the move. If you want it to go back to the cushy job that you had before, you gotta go on the offensive or start looking for a new job. Sounding a lot like this person won't have to work at all anymore after getting a lawyer. That's what I'm thinking. The only thing they're missing is the diagnoses and the papers. Oh, hell yeah. Update 2. The title, Taking Away My Bell Got My Manager Fired. Let's fucking go. This is exactly what we needed to end on. Posted January 31st, 2025, 75 days since the original post, 34 days since the last update. I made a post here a while back about my manager taking away the bell I use at the front desk. Long story short, I like using the bell as it's an effective disability aid, and I was originally encouraged to use it. New management came in and said if I was caught using again, disciplinary action would be taken. Told her it was a disability aid. She didn't care. Took the issue to my GM, who began to grill me on why I hadn't disclosed my disability during my interview. Of course, she's not allowed to ask that. Legally, I'm not obligated to disclose, and she's not allowed to ask me to do so during the course of an interview. I CC'd HR in my response explaining as much. However, nothing came, and eventually the situation died down, though I still didn't get my bell back. However, apparently my email got a small investigation cropped up around the GM's behavior. Corporate began sniffing around and found that next to nothing in our hotel was compliant with corporate policy, and bonus money that should have been sent to the front desk staff as a result of positive reviews mentioning them by name never actually made it to the staff. According to a coworker of mine, the GM had to be escorted out of the building. I spoke with the new acting GM about everything, and he said he was excited to meet me because of the multiple glowing reviews he'd read that mentioned me by name. He's interested in equipping me with the skills to begin rising up the management ranks and asked me to expand on things that would make my job easier. Among so many changes he's planning on implementing came my personal favorite bit of news: I got my bell back. We needed the happy ending. Okay, maybe this one doesn't belong in r/Am I the Devil because it ended so beautifully, but I'm gonna title my video that anyways. Okay, we love it. Damn, that's crazy though, bro. Funneling bonus money? Like, we already knew that GM was sketchy as fuck, but who knew she was gonna be that sketchy, bro? We got the bell back. W bell in chat, guys. W bell in chat.